Hi, welcome back to our Marketing for SaaS Companies, episode number 4. Today with Noah, the owner of Potion. And we are very happy and excited to have you on this episode. Noah, how are you doing?
Hey, Lorenz. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
That's great. If you could tell us a little bit more about an introduction to our audience are SaaS company owners, and what they want to know is a little bit how more about how SaaS companies are doing the marketing so they can get more users. And we love
Yeah.
to learn a little bit more about your company.
Yeah, so I've gotten into entrepreneurial stuff probably the last 5 years or so. I always have like some business or something I'm creating on the side. And I just love creating and building things and trying to figure out like the problems to figure out, like trying to solve problems for customers is just, it's really fun. And it's an exciting thing. And so I've slowly like tried different things and just learned more along the way with a couple of different companies. But I started Potion, my current business, around 6 months ago. And I really built a lot in public. So I built a lot in public on Twitter. And then what Potion is it's a website builder for other creators, entrepreneurs, people to build websites, but it's on top of Notion. So it kind of takes the Notion blocks, Notion content, and you can just write all your content there. And then Potion kind of re-renders it, makes it a static website. So it's nice and fast and good for SEO. And then you can add like your own custom styling and kind of make it look like your own for your own website. So that's what I've been doing for the last 6 months, and it's started to grow and do decently well. I just hit around 250 paying users, I think yesterday. And so, yeah, it's been fun, and I'm excited to kind of see where it goes from here.
That's great, Noah. And what's the goal? How many users do you want to have for in a year from today?
Yeah, so I'm right around 2,300 MRR, and I really want to get to. Well, my goal is to get to 5,000 MRR by the end of the year. So I have 5 months to do that. So it's a little bit of a challenge, but I think it's possible. We'll see. But yeah, I really want to. I really just want to build a business that at least works for myself and my family, and maybe it gets to a point where it's a small little team. I'm not trying to build like a huge unicorn or anything like that. I'm trying to build like a nice scalable online business that has good margins and works well for my family, and is just a fun thing to build and fun to work with these users, that I can help them. And so that's really the goal, to get to where I can do this full time. I still have a day job right now, and being able to enjoy the process of just making this product better.
That's great, no? And is there a chance that we can check your website that you can share with us to the audience, because they are very excited to see what you are doing?
Yeah, you mean like you want me to like kind of share my screen and stuff like that?
That would be amazing, and you can explain us a little bit, because there's nothing like see it
yeah
in real life, and how
for sure
it works.
It looks like
yes,
I need access to be able to share my screen.
Yes, 1 second. Here you go.
Okay. Looks like. All right, you should be seeing my screen now, maybe?
Yes, your screen is here, exactly.
Okay, so this is the website, potion.so. And so kind of our tagline is, create custom websites in minutes, all in Notion. So we're trying to give the benefit that you can do this really quickly. And it's really nice for people that use Notion and are users of Notion, where they can make a website pretty quickly, and it's not like they have to know a completely new tool. Like there is, a couple new things with Potion you might have to figure out, but people that are using Notion are using it pretty much every day, and so it's pretty nice to be able to go into the system you already know well and just update your website or make a change, add some content. Where with a normal website builder, it's like you're having to maybe relearn how the website builder works, because you probably only go into it maybe once a month or however often you update your website. So I have some testimonials here from some paying customers, just trying to kind of bring out, show that it's valuable to people. Is this kind of what you want me to do? Like kind of go through the different blocks of how I'm selling Potion?
Yes, that's what our audience wants to check out, how
Okay, cool.
how your SaaS company does, and
yeah.
Any things that you can share also with audience, what didn't work, what worked on the website, and what is working better to get more, because we are most here wanted to know more about the marketing, and what a better tool than a website is the best marketing tool that SaaS companies have, and how they work for you. How is this website working for you, and what tips you could give our audience, some improvements or some things that you have learned also to get all those users.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that this works decently well, right? Like it's kind of working. Like it seems like people are coming through this web page and deciding like, hey, I'm going to try this out. I do have a 7-day free trial. So they kind of start a 7-day free trial, and these are the different plans I have right now, which are based on number of websites. So, 1 site, 3 sites, or 8 sites. And the plan would eventually be to have kind of some more advanced features and custom features where these upper plans can be a little more expensive, but also bring more customability, more features that people are looking for. And then maybe towards the top end, more so be able to kind of help companies and make some plans that are better for teams, where probably the large majority of Potion users currently are still entrepreneurs, creators, entrepreneurs. And I think there's a space where it makes sense to kind of serve up market a little bit, even though I still want to help entrepreneurs and stuff like that. But then I kind of have a section for most asked questions here, just try to answer any questions that people have. But yeah, this is kind of like the pricing. So yeah, I mean, it seems like things work pretty well. Like there's probably some things I could tweak. Like this is a portion where I'm trying to kind of show this is the old way of doing websites, with WordPress and Webflow, and how there's maybe more process there. There's maybe some more things you have to do, where Potion just kind of makes it easier. It's pretty straightforward. If you know Notion and you just kind of have your Notion pages and just link Potion to those pages, and it just updates automatically. So now I'm trying to like bring out some of the custom features, or the features like custom domains. This is kind of a cool thing where you update your Notion page and it just is live. Like it just updates like immediately in Potion. So you can kind of see that there. But the cool thing with this whole website is it's actually in Potion itself. So this is my Notion workspaces here. And I have these different landing pages that are all in Notion. And so this is actually that front page of the landing page. All the content is here in Notion, and it's just, different Notion blocks. So it's all that same content. And then Potion is re-rendering all that, and I'm adding some custom styling and kind of creating, adding this menu and making a pretty custom website, even though this data and content is right here. So yeah, it's kind of a cool way to make a website, and so I'm trying to kind of draw out those good features. This is a section that I've heard lots of people really like, because it kind of shows you like, okay, why, like what is Potion valuable for? Like what kind of websites would I want to use? So it has like different categories: landing pages, portfolios, help docs, career pages. Those are the kind of websites I see a lot of people making. because, Notion is good for creating content. Its databases are really good. You can put a lot of data in there. And so any websites that need those kind of things, like info products, a lot of times, Potion's a pretty good fit for that. And then this is pretty important to give with marketing and stuff, to give some proof, okay, people are talking about this on Twitter, people are liking this. And so this kind of gives some credibility to see this. And I actually have a whole page, a wall of love here, that just different people talking about Potion. So I think that's pretty valuable to have on your website for sure. And then even this is kind of cool. It's almost like this block here. And I almost feel like maybe I should bring this more front and center in some ways, because it's almost like showing that this website you're looking at right now is built with Potion. So it's almost like a use case study that people can see right in front of them, which is kind of cool. But other than that, I have a showcase where I try to show just the different websites that are already used with Potion. And so people can kind of go through and see what people have created, kind of give you some inspiration and help you know what's possible. Because if we look at a couple of these, you can see, you can customize things pretty well to you wouldn't really know this was using Notion in the background with the content. So it's pretty cool, some of the things that people have created. This is a different kind of portfolio website. And yeah, so there's lots of cool things. And I think this showcase, when I added this, it definitely, I could see quite a little bit of an uptick with signups, because like I was saying, it shows what's possible. And I think it really does a good job of showing the value and giving some credibility as well. So I guess advice anyways to in your landing page, to give credibility, to show kind of how your tool works, show examples of it, and things that really kind of help to make it clear to people what it's doing. I think those kind of things are really valuable. So this showcase page has definitely been good for that, for Potion. And then just, have some different templates. People can take these templates and get started with a website where, this is actually my own portfolio, but they can copy this template and then paste the CSS into Potion, and they'll get their website to look just like this. And so it kind of gives a good starting place for people. And we're adding more templates all the time. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot of, that's a lot of the website. I mean, there's a lot more things I could talk about. Any questions from that?
No, most of the SaaS companies, they have an explainer video. They tell me it's very good also option to get the potential users know more about how it works. Do you think it's important also for the marketing, or how?
Oh yeah, I think that's
yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And I'm looking to make a kind of video like that. I just haven't had the time to add it yet. I actually have one here on Product Hunt. When I launch on Product Hunt, I have a video here that's just 2 minutes. And I think I'll probably almost do the exact same thing, but for my website, because that seemed to go pretty well. People like that video. So yeah, I think the video is definitely good, because it can just kind of visually show quickly and explain what your product does.
All right. That's great. And from there, it's important also to link the website to all your social media. How is the traffic coming? That's a question that I guess most of the time, how you get the traffic coming to your website at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, we can look at that.
Yes.
This is, I'm using Google Analytics here, just refreshing. But yeah, so probably the majority of it is coming from Twitter, because I've grown a bit of a following on Twitter. And so let's see, this is the last 7 days, 1.3K. And so you can see here, a decent amount of that is direct, which I'm always like, direct is like kind of unsure what that is, right? It's like some random stuff. It could be like email newsletters, or it could be random things. So yeah, not really sure where that's coming from. And there might be some things I can do to kind of get a better idea where that is coming from. But Product Hunt is usually one of my top couple. Usually it's after Twitter, but I just had an article that was done on Product Hunt this last week that they wrote about me, and so that's probably why Product Hunt is a bit higher in this last week. But yeah, Twitter typically, because I have a decent following on Twitter, just from building in public and kind of sharing the behind the scenes of what I'm doing. And that seems to work pretty well, because there's a lot, the people that enjoy following like the behind the scenes and the build in public are other entrepreneurs, other creators, and that's like kind of my target market for Potion. And so those people find me that way, and then they'll check out what I'm doing and kind of be interested. And so that's been what's worked really well for me. The other thing that's worked well was my Product Hunt launch. I got #1 of the day and #3 of the week, or #3 of the month. I think I was #1 of the week as well. And so that was the Product Hunt launch I did almost 2 months ago now. And that was really when I started to see a big boost in signups and more people like kind of word of mouth, just talking about Potion on Twitter and stuff. And so that was very valuable. And really it couldn't have gone better, the Product Hunt launch. And so yeah, that was really good. So I still have people kind of coming from Product Hunt or just from word of mouth from it. So that's where kind of a lot of things come from. So Google, there is some from Google. I was just looking at my search console, Google Search Console. The majority of these Google searches that I'm getting are actually people that are just searching for Potion, basically. Like they already knew about Potion most likely, and they're just trying to find the website again. So because they're searching things like Notion Potion or Potion website builder. So they most likely saw it somewhere else like Twitter or something like that. And now they're just trying to find the website again. And so that's definitely somewhere where I want to grow, is like, have some good SEO key terms where people are finding me from, like Notion website builders, or trying to build their website with Notion and things like that, where I could get some new users to help to find me. But yeah, so then we got indie hackers, got a little bit of Reddit, but not much. But yeah, that's really where most of the traffic is coming from. Any follow-ups there? All this is all good. But yeah, I mean, I'm open to share any other things. Like I could share kind of how I think the Product Hunt launch did well, or kind of some of the things I was able to do to make that go well.
Our audience will love that, Noah, and especially also you talk about how behind the scenes post and all this create a lot of momentum for you. That will be also very interesting to see.
Okay.
All this
Yeah.
tool of marketing that you are applying.
And really, yeah, and really I think a lot of the reasons of why the Product Hunt launch went well kind of goes hand in hand with that, from the build in public. Because yeah, so on Twitter, I started building in public basically right as when I started building Potion. I started building in public, kind of sharing. I mean, my first tweet here is that I'm going to build a SaaS in public starting tomorrow. And that was kind of one of my first tweets that really blew up, just like the anticipation of me starting this project. And so basically ever since then, I started kind of sharing what I'm doing, building in public. And I have I would create videos kind of sharing behind the scenes, and I'd post those on Twitter, and then also post them on YouTube, and just kind of showing like the decisions that I'm making and like the progress I've made. And I found that, when you do that and you're very transparent, people will kind of like want to back you up. Like they'll kind of want to support you, because they kind of start to feel like they know your story, they know your journey, they know kind of some of the hard points you've hit and the decisions you've made. And so then they kind of like want to root for you, which is super helpful. Because, then I started to create this little audience, now almost 6,000 followers of people that kind of care about what I'm building. And when someone asks about a question on Twitter or other places, like they'll bring me up, they'll bring my name up, they'll bring Potion up. And so that's like very helpful. So I think with like the build in public, what I try to do is like just give value. Like if you're giving value to people and helping them, sharing what you've learned, being valuable in some way, eventually like they'll want to maybe help back. And so if you give, and then maybe every once in a while ask for something, like that's kind of what I did with Product Hunt. Was I tried to just be valuable, giving away things. And so then once I do ask, not too often though, but when I do ask, like asking like, hey, can you help support me on Product Hunt? There's a lot of people that are willing to kind of come and help and support the product. And so that's, I think, what really helped with the Product Hunt launch. Is I kind of had all these people that were kind of wanting to back me up. And so they went out and supported the Product Hunt launch. And that kind of helps give a good boost in the beginning of the day, so that people could see my product on Product Hunt. So then, then that started funneling Product Hunt people to kind of check it out. And so yeah, that little kind of building in public has been really valuable for me and for Potion. And that's really the only kind of marketing-ish kind of things that I've done. I haven't really done a ton of marketing stuff other than that. And so that's, it's worked well for me. That doesn't necessarily mean it will work for every product, or different kind of markets or categories. But I think it's I don't know, it seems obviously the building in public has gotten bigger nowadays. And I think maybe people more so care, or at least in our kind of industry online and Twitter and some of those spaces, like people are more willing to buy a product when they know the founder and they can start follow their story. Like there's just a group of people that are really into that. And so if you're in those kind of niches, maybe it makes sense to build in public. But in some other markets, it might not make sense if if the customers don't really care about it. But yeah, I mean, with the Product Hunt launch, yeah, obviously there's a lot that you don't have control of, and so you kind of can just do your best. You can put a good video out, you can put some like good images to kind of show off your product, and a lot of it is kind of dependent on who else is launching on that day and how things kind of go. And so really there's only so much you can do, but put your best foot forward. And that's what I tried to do. Because I started making plans for what I was going to do, how I was going to launch the month before the Product Hunt launch. And one of the best things you can do is get a really good hunter. So you can see here, I have Chris Mezina, who was my hunter. And the benefit of that is if a hunter has a lot of followers, like we can see Chris has, I don't know, like 32,000 followers. He's like the number one product hunter. And so when he hunts something, all those followers will get like an email that he hunted something, and they'll go check it out. So like that's one of the biggest things you can do, I think, is kind of get a connection to a really good hunter and get them to hunt your product, because that's really going to kind of help kickstart things on your Product Hunt launch. So like that's one big thing you can do. The other thing is just like the first hour or two, because Product Hunt, all the products launch on midnight PST, and just trying to get into those top spaces that in the beginning of the day can go a long way, because then more people will see your product for the rest of the day. And so basically just doing everything you can do, like messaging people that you've had conversations with in the past, asking for support. And so really this is where have the building in public and have given out some value to people in the past is valuable, because then that's when those people can then come and help you out. And so I had around 50 DMs on Twitter of just people I'd had conversations with before. So I at least knew they knew me, and I had maybe tried to help them out in the past. And I went through all those DMs and basically just said hey, I'm launching on Product Hunt. Would you support me? And I think probably 50% of those went and upvoted on the Product Hunt page. And obviously I don't think that will work very well if you're just DMing random people that don't know you. And so I think kind of building up kind of that community or networking beforehand is really valuable. The other thing I was able to do was I had a decent sized email list of people that had tried out Potion over the last 4 months or so. At that time I had, I think 750 on the Potion email list. And so I emailed out to all of them and, my customers and asked them if they'd go support the launch. And so that was definitely very valuable as well, because that gave me kind of a big boost in the very beginning. So yeah, I think there's really two ways you can launch on Product Hunt, right? You could launch just as you have an MVP ready and just try to get some of your first users, or you could have your product out there for a while and launch kind of once you already know that it's launch already after you know that your product works, or you could launch after you have already kind of gotten some paying users and the business is kind of doing well, and kind of use Product Hunt more as a marketing kind of boost. And so that's what I try to do. And I think if you do that, there's more chance that it will be successful, because you kind of at that point will hopefully have some customers and people around your product that can help the launch day go well. And you kind of already know that the product is something people like. And so, it's just not as risky as just putting out your product on Product Hunt the first day that it's launched. So that's kind of what I would recommend. But of course, it kind of depends with what you're trying, what's your goal with the launch? Are you just trying to learn if this would be something people would be interested in, or trying to use it as a validation? Then yeah, maybe it makes sense to launch on Product Hunt earlier. But I think, you'll probably do better if you wait a little bit later and launch with some more data around your product and having some customers around it. So yeah, I mean, other than that, with the Product Hunt launch, it's kind of just trying to make as big of a buzz as you can on that day, so that more people hear about your product and are funneled to the page to upvote it and support it. So some little tricks, ways that I did that was on my profile page, I changed my bio to be, I'm launching on Product Hunt. Go check out Potion, and just have the link right here in my bio. And that's the only thing, have all these links going straight to the Product Hunt page. And then I did kind of a big Twitter thread about kind of the past 6 months and just kind of my journey up to this point. And that kind of went a little viral-ish. And so trying to do things like that to try to get people to the page. I did a Twitter Spaces for 3 hours where I had different creators and entrepreneurs that I interviewed. And so that was just kind of a way to kind of, the Product Hunt launch wasn't necessarily the focus of that, but it was something we'd bring up every once in a while because everyone knew that was what was going on that day. But it's more so just trying to do a valuable thing for people, and then hopefully get some new people to hear about what I was up to in the Product Hunt launch. So yeah, those are some, I guess, little tips and things that you can do with Product Hunt that could hopefully make it go well.
Amazing, Noah. And most SaaS companies, when the potential user is interested in the product, they have a demo. They can book a demo, the potential user, or it will be a video, or it could be a conversation. So that the one we are having you and me. Do you have something like that, or they just go and get the product right away? Or if you could
Yeah.
also explain us, because many of our audience is very interested in knowing uh, what the process is from a cold client to a client that already wants to do subscribe with you for the long term.
Yeah. Yeah. So since my product is a pretty, low price, like these are
Yes,
my prices here.
yes,
I don't feel like I have like a ton of time to like do demos and things like that, just because that takes a decent amount of time. And so I really
uh-huh.
try to make my product self-serve as much as possible so that people can just come to the website, click on it to get started on a trial, and they get a 7-day free trial with credit card up front. And that seems to have worked decently well. I've had a couple times where I've kind of demoed it just to kind of, that was almost to kind of learn a little bit like their needs and stuff and make sure I'm helping those customers well. So yeah, I haven't really done the demo thing. I think maybe I will a little bit more once I get like a higher price point for teams, and do that with teams. Um, I think that could make sense. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying, for the most part, I'm trying to create a engine that works kind of on its own, like that kind of passively works, just because I only have so many resources and I'm building this by myself. And so I want to kind of make a business that works pretty well self-serve, and that doesn't take a ton of time, so that I can focus on making the product better, or just having lots of margin to do other things. And yeah, so that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. I think at least with this market that I'm looking at or working with, I don't know if they necessarily want demos as much either. They kind of just want to get their hands on the product and see if they would like it. So yeah, that's kind of my thinking behind that for Potion.
That's great. And Noah, if you could give advice to this SaaS owner that is in this moment like struggling to get more users, and at this moment, what can he do? Like any advice, because we receive a lot of SOS messages from the SaaS owners that are a little bit stuck and they want to get more users. That's the main problem for SaaS owners. And I see that you are doing a great marketing here, especially like this behind the scenes. I love that thing that you are doing. And maybe if you have any tip to our audience that, especially this SaaS owner at this moment is struggling to get more users, what he can implement in the marketing, in the social media, or put more behind the scenes, or how can they grow more the SaaS companies? Because at the end is the goal to get more users, and at the end is to give more to the community. And if you have a great product, you want to expand it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot of problems and things that could be, stopping people from trying out your product. And so, yeah, it's a hard problem. It's really hard to figure out SaaS and figure out how to make it work, and how to market it and all of that. I think, at least for me, I think the main thing is like it starts with the product. And if the product isn't good or people aren't finding value in it, it's going to be really hard to market it and kind of get the business working well if the product isn't, solving the problems of your customers like they need and things like that. So I always like to really start with the product and just really make sure that it's working well and it's, solving the problem for my customers. And so, I think I feel like it's almost like a muscle to kind of grow and learn grow your muscle to kind of know what it feels like to have a product that's working. And it's hard because it's different with every market, and every product is a little different. But the more products you start as a founder and just the more tries that you have, I think you kind of build this muscle that kind of knows like, okay, this feels good. This doesn't feel that good. And, that's the other hard part, obviously, with businesses and just getting started is you don't have much data. You only maybe have a couple customers or 10 customers. And so there's not a ton of data that you can look at to say like how this is going. I think it's more of like a little bit of a feeling of like, or qualitative data of like actually talking to your customers, hearing what they have to say, and just taking those little learnings that you have, and knowing how well the product is and how well you're doing with it from that. And so obviously that's hard. And so I think just trying multiple products and just getting out there, I think helps you with that whole process, so that you kind of have a better idea. Because ideally, I think like, not that it's going to be easy, because it's never going to be easy, but in my mind, in some ways, like if I'm having to try too hard to sell this product and it's not working, then maybe there's a problem with my product. Or, to me, it's like, I think if I've, you want to try for a decent amount of time, but at some point it's like, maybe I'd rather go work on a product that's more likable, that people are more likely to just want to start using and pay for. And so in some ways it's like, if I'm trying too hard, maybe that's a bad sign. But it really depends. And so that's why it's difficult. But okay, so if you're kind of past the point where it's like, okay, I know this product is working, I have users that really like it, it's good, then I'd say like really like figuring out like who your target customer is, who are the people that really like your product, and then trying to figure out where those people hang out, like where are they at, and just really trying to brainstorm around like how can you be in those places, in those communities, and kind of get in front of them. And just thinking of different unique ways to do that obviously can be a challenge. But I think that's really where it comes to with marketing, is understanding your customer, understanding where they're at, and going and meeting them there. And so that's what I've tried to do with Potion, and like with the building in public, because that's where a lot of the entrepreneurs and people are at. And obviously there's a lot of other things I could do, like different channels I can try out. And that's kind of what I hope to do in the near future. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of some of the advice that I would give for the marketing there. And hopefully that was helpful in some way.
Yes, totally, because most of our audience are a little bit stuck with that, and they don't know. They try many things in the marketing, and sometimes some of them, they have great products, but maybe their marketing is not as good, and it's a shame because they have a great product, but now with your words, they have a North Star now, what to do, and it's pure value. So the time has come a little bit to us. Noah, do you have any tips that you can, or any final words to our SaaS audience that you want to tell us, and something, or some fun stuff that happened in your journey, or something that you would love to share with our audience, and also
Yeah. I mean, I think just hang in there, really. Like I think with entrepreneurship and building SaaSes and stuff, like persistence is really one of the key things. Because if you just keep in there, hang in there, and you just keep learning, like if you put enough time to it, I think you'll be able to make a business work. And I feel like that's kind of been my story. Like I've been working at businesses for a long time. Like even in college, I always had some kind of business or something I was working on. And you just, it compounds because you're learning, you're growing, you're figuring out how things work, and things kind of not get easier, but like there's just more opportunities that you're able to take advantage of because you've built up the skills to build the business that can do well. And also with business, it feels it feels like there's a little bit of luck sometimes because you just kind of never know what's going to work. And so just trying things and being out there doing it for a longer time just gives you more opportunity that something will work. And so that's why I'd just really kind of encourage people to just stay persistent, keep trying, keep learning, and you'll get there.
Noah, thank you so much for being here in our episode number 4. I cannot thank you enough, and the value you give today to our SaaS audience is pure golden nuts here.
Thanks.
Nuggets. I highly appreciate it, and I wish we can talk. This is the first of many of other episodes that we have together, and I would love to check on your progress, and maybe I know for sure that you will have, the more experience you will get on this journey, more value you will give to our audience also, and how your marketing will change for sure. It's not the only thing that never change is the marketing. It's always in a changing, and
that's true.
And you are in the trenches, and I hope that we have another episode with you. I'm looking forward, and I cannot appreciate you. I cannot thank you enough for being here and this sharing everything that you shared today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I've enjoyed being here. So looking forward to being on again sometime.
Yes, thank you so much, Noah. I will.